Hey, good morning and welcome to Family Jesus Time. In today's lesson, we're going to wrap up Joshua. Last week we talked about when he was younger and studying under Moses. We wrapped up last week's lesson with Moses passing on authority to Joshua. So now Joshua is leading God's chosen nation. And the first job on Joshua's list is to get the nation into the promised land. Well, it's not like there was a bridge and it's not like there was a road. They actually had to cross the Jordan River. And we are told the Jordan River was at flood stages, which meant it would be very difficult to cross. But God said he would stop the waters of the Jordan flowing. The interesting thing is, he would only stop it once the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant, that holy representation of God's presence with his people, the water would only stop when they started walking in the river. See, they couldn't wait and play it safe and ask God to stop the river first. They had to take that step out in faith into the river to see God's amazing power. And as soon as they took that step out, the water stopped flowing. And the entire nation of Israel was able to cross the Jordan River without even getting their feet wet, which was really cool. But that's not the end of that Bible account, because God told them to do something else, to remember how God brought them into the promised land. God had one representative from each of the 12 tribes get a stone from the middle of the Jordan River. And they brought it to the bank and they built an altar, a monument, so that every time they passed that place with their children, with their grandchildren, with their great-grandchildren, with their great-great-grandchildren, well, you get the idea. They could tell them about how God stopped the waters of the River Jordan so that they could cross into the promised land. Now that's a really cool account in and of itself, but there's a second story for you guys today. And that is the lesson of Joshua taking down the walls of Jericho. Well, it wasn't really Joshua who did it. While he was leading God's people, it was clearly God that did it, because God gave the Israelites some crazy instructions. He said, I want you to walk all the way around the city once a day for 6 days. And on the seventh day, I want you to walk around it 7 times. And at the end of that 7th time, I want you to shout and blow your horns and cry out to God. And God will bring down the walls of the city, and then you can go in and you can take over the city. Now, we learn a couple of things from this. The first is God's instructions are not always, they might not always make sense to us. That's the first thing we learn. The second thing we learn is when God says he's going to do something, no matter how odd it might seem, stand back and watch how amazing he is. Well, you see, we have that promise that God has forgiven us and made us his children. And that's not something we have to do. That's just something we have to believe in and trust. Much like the people of Israel just had to believe that God was going to bring those walls down and God was going to give them Jericho. I hope you guys enjoy this lesson today. I'm looking forward to Vacation Bible School. We're going to have it in the evening starting June 14th. We're going to have some Jesus time, we're going to have some singing, we're going to have some dessert, and we're going to have some crafts. So it'll be a great time for us to reconnect with each other and start gathering again. And then on Sunday, June 21st, we're going to start Sunday school and adult Bible class. The nursery's going to be open with limited stuff so that we can get the toys washed between each kid and everything. So it's starting to get back to the way church was. God's people coming together in this place to worship him. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. God's blessings. Bye.